The options chain, the most important tool for any options trader. In this video, I'll walk you through the options chain on Robinhood Legend, our brand new browser-based trading platform. You'll learn how to navigate, customize, and link it to your watch lists and charts. And most importantly, I'll show you how to place an options trade using the two-sided chain. Let's get started. All right, we're working in a blank layout. I've named this layout options chain. And the first thing we're gonna do is add our options chain widget. Once it loads, we're gonna expand this out to cover the whole screen. All right, let's do a quick walkthrough of the widget, kind of orient ourselves to what we're seeing on the screen. Starting in the upper left-hand corner, we have the linking group feature. This would allow us to link this option chain to a watch list, chart, or different widgets within Robinhood Legend. To the right of the linking feature, we have a stock symbol with a price and a dollar and percentage change. This is the underlying stock that is populating the options that we see on our screen. If we wanted to look at a different options chain, we could just click here and search for a symbol. And once we make that change, now the options for that underlying stock is visible. Now moving down on our screen, we have our calls and puts. Now this might be new if you're typically trading options on Robinhood Mobile. This is more of a traditional layout for an option chain, which we call a two-sided options chain. On the left-hand side, you have call options, and on the right-hand side, you have put options. Down the middle of our screen, this is our strike prices. And the strike prices by default are listed in ascending order. So the lower strike prices will be at the top, and the higher strike prices at the bottom. And then the prices and data for that information carries across from left to right. So the pricing data for the 227.5 call on Apple is here. The pricing information for the 227.5 put is over on the right side. Now, by default, when you open a new options chain, you're going to be put on the nearest term expiration. Let's close or collapse that. And now you can see on the left-hand side, we have all the available expirations for this underlying stock that are available to be traded. And going from left to right, we have a caret, which would open that option chain up. You can click that again and it will close the chain. To the right of that, we have this little badge that says a number and the letter D. This corresponds to how many days are left before this option expires. Remember, these are calendar days. These are not trading days. So for example, the actual day of the week and date of the calendar in which these will be the last day that these options are available to trade before they expire. Let's move back up on our screen and you'll notice that there is by default a number of different data columns that will be listed in addition to the strike price that we pointed out earlier. Let's open back up one of these expiration series and take a look at some of these data points. So starting on the left-hand side, the last price, that's the last traded price of the option. Net change, that's the value in change of the option for the current trading day. Volume, how many contracts have traded today. Open interest, this is how many contracts are open in the market yet to be closed. To the right of that, implied volatility. And then we have our series of option Greeks, delta, gamma, theta, vega, and rho. To the right of that, we have the bid and ask price. And I'm gonna stop here because this is probably the single most important piece of data on the option chain. When you're looking to buy or sell options, the bid and ask price will be the prices that you look at. Once again, if you're used to trading on Robinhood Mobile, you usually see one price on your option chain, which you can choose as either the bid or ask or mark or midpoint of the option spread. But in this case, you see both prices side by side. And once again, this is more of a traditional way to view an option chain, and it helps you more quickly decide the price that you want to get in and out of an option based on the current market, meaning the bid price, this is the price someone's willing to pay for an option. The asking price, this is the price someone is offering to sell the option at. And this is where we will actually queue up orders to buy and sell an option. Let's do that real quick. Let's show you how to buy a single option. To do that, if you're looking to buy an option, we would look at the ask price. And so let's just pick this 230 call, which is trading for 60 cents. If we click that, that's gonna queue up an order on our screen. Let me just drag that over to the middle of the screen so you can see it. And we have the Apple October 4th 230 call we're buying to open. Let's put this in at a limit price of 60 cents, which is just above the current asking price. And I'm gonna hit buy. And our order was submitted and our order was filled. Now notice once we got filled, we see this little +1 badge next to the 230 strike. That means we're currently long this option. And it's just as easy to sell an option on the option chain. To do that, we would click on the bid price. And so let's just say we wanted to sell the 235 call, turn this into a long call spread. We would click on the bid. And now we see our order ticket. I'm going to drag that again over to the middle of the screen. And it's already queued up a sell to open, one contract at the current bid price of 10 cents. Let's put that order in. Let's turn this into a spread. Our order was submitted and we are filled. Now you'll notice we have two badges on our screen next to the strike price, notifying us that we're long the 230 call and we're short the 235 call, which is a call debit spread or a long call spread, call vertical, whatever terminology that you use. The other thing I want you to notice is the data points that I have on the left side of the screen mirrors the right side of the screen. So whatever data I'm showing on the call side is also viewable on the put side. Typically, if you're adding data to your columns for an option chain, you typically want to see both data points on each side of the option chain. But let's do some customization of those columns. And to do that, we'll click on the three-dot settings menu, hover our mouse over customize columns, and here we'll see a list of all the available data points that we have to choose from, including the ones that are already selected. So if you see a check mark, that's something that's already on our screen. If we wanted to add data points, we can do that simply by clicking more data points. And you'll notice as I do this, more data is populating my screen. And to navigate, maybe some of this data is now hidden because we've added so many data points and there's only so much real estate we can see. Simply scroll your mouse left and right, and now we have multiple data points that are viewable on our options chain, but we can just quickly navigate by using our mouse to see them. Now, what if you want to change the order of some of these data points? Well, it's pretty simple. Let's for a second imagine we wanted to take our implied volatility column, move that all the way to the edges of our options chain. Simply click with your mouse the column header and drag that over to the position that you prefer. And now notice on both sides of my screen, implied volatility has moved to this far left position within my chain. If we want to resize columns, very simple, just find the edge of a column and drag that left and right to give more real estate to a specific column. Now you might be asking, can I sort by any of these columns? And actually the answer is no, and that's for a good reason. Typically with an options chain, the sortable column is only going to be the strike price. So right now we have strikes in ascending order, so they're getting larger as we get lower on the screen. But if we wanted to flip that for some reason, we could click that here, and now we have our strikes sorted in a different order. I'm going to click that back. Once again, this is more of a traditional layout where the lower strike is at the top and the larger strike is down at the bottom of the screen. The other thing I want to point out is based on this layout, you'll notice that the stock price is dead center in our option chain, right? Here's our stock price in the upper left-hand corner. Here's our stock price positioned in the middle of the options chain. Why is that important? And here's the reason why. Because it's going to help you know where the in and out of the money options are on this options chain. So on the call side, anything above this line, these are strikes with lower prices than the current stock price. These are your in the money call options. And you'll notice there's a little bit of a shading behind them to let you know that. Meanwhile, any strike price below this line, these are strike prices with a higher price than the current stock price. These are your out of the money options. Over on the put side, it's just the opposite. Your in the money options are in the lower right-hand quadrant, and your out of the money put options are in your upper right-hand quadrant. Now, in addition, you can also filter this option chain to reduce the amount of data you're seeing at once. We can do that by going to the upper right-hand corner, clicking on the filter button. Remember, in Robinhood Legend, if you forget what any of these buttons do, just hover your mouse over for a second and a little tooltip will appear. So here's the filter. I'm going to click on that. And you'll notice that you can filter by number of strikes as well as days to expiration. By default, we're seeing 12 strikes, but maybe you want to see more than that. Let's do that by clicking on the 24. That's going to double the amount of strikes that we currently see on our screen. And just with a click of a button, we've now doubled the amount of strikes. We can also do a custom amount of strikes. Maybe you want to see more strikes way out of the money or in the money on either side of the option chain. Let's just change this to, I'm going to put 40 and just pick a random number and hit done. We now see 40 strikes. That's 20 above, 20 below the current price for each expiration. This is important if you're looking to trade further away from the current stock price. This is a quick and easy way to see more strikes. Let's go back to that view of 12 strikes just so we can streamline what we're seeing on our screen here. And there we go, we're back to 12. Now the other thing we can do is we can limit how many expiration series we see. Right now we're seeing all expirations, and what do we mean by that? Well, that's all the expirations you see here on your main option chain, but maybe we only want to see a certain date range. Maybe it's something to do with your strategy, or trying to limit the amount of data that you're showing. We'll click filter again, and let's just look at the options with less than or equal to 30 days to expiration. And with that filter, we've now limited the amount of expirations that are visible on our screen. And if we want to clear that and just go back to the default state, we hit clear, and we're right back to where we started at the start of the video. Okay, what I've done now is I've set up a 2-monitor layout. If we look from up above, on the left monitor, we've got our account summary widget, followed by our orders and positions widget. To the right of that is our option chain widget. I've cleaned up some of the data a little bit, so we're seeing less data points right now. We have volume, open interest, implied volatility, delta, and the bid and ask. Remember, you can't move or change bid and ask. Those are gonna stay there no matter what, because that's how we enter orders. Over on the right monitor, I've got my demo video watch list and a chart. First thing I want to do is I want to get all of these widgets linked together so that our option chain will update as we maneuver through our watch list. If you notice on the right-hand monitor, watch list and chart widgets are linked with this purple square, while over on the left monitor, orders, positions, and option chain with more of this pink square. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the linking tool and then change this to purple, so that it links to the demo video watch list and chart. Now notice as I select the different color, it highlights which part of the screen that you're going to be linking to. So a nice little convenient feature there. Click on that, and now you'll notice that my option chain has updated to NVIDIA, which was the stock that was currently populating this chart and was selected on this watch list. So what does this let you do? Well, if you have a watch list, you can quickly scroll through each stock symbol and see both the chart change as well as the option chain. So let's do that. Let's click through a couple symbols. Let's click over to American Express. Now you can see our chart is updated, our option chain is updated, but our orders and positions widget haven't, because remember, those are linked with different colors. All right, next I'm going to show you how to place a multi-leg spread from the option chain on Robinhood Legend. This is one of my favorite parts about the new option chain. It's quick and efficient, so you can quickly build multi-leg spreads, whereas on the mobile app, it's a little more tedious. You got to switch from buy and sell, call and put. This we can do with just a series of mouse clicks. So here I have American Express up. We just changed it on our watch list. We're going to sell an iron condor. This is a 4-legged option spread where you sell a call spread, sell a put spread. It involves 4 legs, one you have to buy, one you have to sell. And we're going to do this in a matter of seconds. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go out to, let's just pick the Friday, November 1st expiration with 31 days left of trading. We're going to open that up, and you'll see our stock price is right in the middle. Let's sell the 255, 260 put spread, and we'll also sell the 280, 285 call spread. So that creates an iron condor. Let's just sell the 280 call by clicking the bid price. To buy the 285 call, I'll just click on the ask price, and we'll pause there for a moment. You'll notice on our order ticket up here, it's already queued up the call credit spread, has everything organized based on what we clicked, but this is an iron condor. We need to sell the put spread as well. So to do that, I'm just gonna continue clicking by selling the 260 put by clicking the bid price, and then clicking the asking price on the 255 put. And now you'll notice we have an iron condor queued up, ready to go, right in our order ticket. Just to recap what we did, we're selling the 280 call, buying the 285 call. That's the short call spread part of the iron condor. We're selling the 260 put, buying the 255 put, all the same expiration, all the quantities are correct, selling to open, buying to open, all the actions are correct, and then we have the quantity. So if we wanted to sell 3 of these iron condors, we could just queue up that quantity, and it's going to change the individual legs as well. Let's put that back to 1. Meanwhile, our price on the order ticket is going to start out around the mid price. You can see the current bid for this iron condor is 190. So if we try to put this order in, we're probably not going to get a fill. If we put it closer to that bid price, the chances of us getting a fill will be higher. So this is a nice way in the order ticket to sort of see where that market is. Let's be a little greedy. Let's try to sell this more than the bid price, but a little bit less than the mark price. So I'm just going to pop this in at $2.50. And this order right now is set for good for the day. Let's change that to good till canceled. When you're ready to place the trade, click submit. And look at that, we got a fill, believe it or not. Even though we put in the order above the current bid price, we've kind of put it between the bid and the mark, and we got a fill. So if we look at our recent orders, we can see our American Express short iron condor filled. We got a fill price of $288. That's pretty good. If we go down to our positions, we now see all 4 of those options from the American Express iron condor in our position widget. And once again, this is another widget. We can customize and group these by underlying so we can keep our positions widget nice and clean. And you'll notice now on our option chain, there's the 4 options we traded. We're short the 280 call, long the 285 call, short the 260 put, long the 255 put. This is an iron condor. We want this stock to stay somewhere between 260 and 280 by expiration. And if so, we'll keep the credit on that position that we just sold. Now, the next thing I want to show you is how you can build a spread that maybe has a different ratio in terms of quantity based on the strategy. So for example, a butterfly. I'm just gonna pick a random stock from the list again. Let's just go down one to Boeing. See, the chart is updated, the option chain is updated. For this one, let's go out to a different expiration. We'll go to the Friday, October 11th with 10 days left to expiration. I'm just gonna build a random butterfly. Once again, this isn't a trade recommendation. We're not talking about the strategy of a butterfly. I just wanna kind of show you how you can build something that has maybe one contract here, 2 contracts on a different strike, and 1 contract on a third strike. First, we have to queue up the order. We'll pick the 155, 160, 165 strikes. So we'll buy the 155 by clicking the ask. We'll sell the 160 and then buy the 165. Okay, so we've queued up the strikes, but we're only halfway home. We have to adjust the ratio because we have to sell 2 of those 160s. So looking at the order ticket, you'll notice in the upper right-hand corner, it's set to a 1-to-1 ratio. So that means it's the same amount of contracts in each line that we've built. Click on that link, and now we can set it to custom ratio, and we can change the number of options that we're selling on this 160 to 2. Now, one thing you want to notice is that there's no negative number in these fields because the sell to open signifies that we are selling these 2 options where the other ones are being bought. And if you notice the price, there's a negative sign in front of the prices we're buying because that money's we're paying. Meanwhile, this one that we're selling, this is the amount that we're collecting. And when you add all of that up, you get your net price for the butterfly right here. And if we wanted to route this order, we could by hitting submit. So let's just put that in. We'll pay 80 cents for this, good for the day. Send that order. And that order is now working. You'll see that strategy is labeled Boeing long call butterfly, and it is working. And let's say we were building, I'm just gonna build a short put spread here. So we're selling the 71, and then I'm just gonna pick a random option to buy the 69. But maybe here we're like, I wanna change the strikes or remove one of these. Just click that price again and notice that that option has disappeared from the order ticket. I'll do that again. There, we've turned this into a put credit spread. But if we want to remove that leg, we'll click the ask, and now that order ticket is back to just the option that we've sold. And if we want to get rid of everything, we can close the order ticket, and that removes the option, or simply click once, click twice, and that order is now back to scratch. And that's the option chain. Tons of functionality, plenty of features. It might be a little new to you if you haven't traded on a 2-sided option chain, but trust me when I say this, if you're an experienced and active options trader, there's nothing better than seeing all of the options laid out on one screen with all of the different information, and you can quickly navigate from the call side to the put side, buy orders, sell orders, single options to complex spreads. Everything you need is built into this new option chain. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for more tips and tutorials on Robinhood Legend. Have a question? Drop it down below in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Happy trading. I'll see you in the next video.